Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Gems with Josh. Welcome to the new EP, and man, yes, we're already at week 11 of the NFL fantasy football season. This thing is moving quickly, man. I'll give you guys an update on my league. I'm 8-2 now. Doing pretty good. Kind of getting my mind a little bit more focused on the playoff run, looking at matchups that kind of maybe help me out later on, and also trying to make sure that I get those handcuffs to those guys who are on my team. For instance, right now I traded a few weeks back for Kyron Williams. I'm looking at Corum as the backup running back from the Rams, maybe picking him up, keeping him on my team just in case he gets injured. Same thing with Bijan Robinson. I got Tyler Algier free in my league as well. Also maybe going to pick him up to make sure I have those guys behind my guys. But yeah, man, we're just trucking along, trying to, figure out the best lineups week to week to see what we can get. Our tight end positions have kind of been a little bit up and down, but hey, man, we're still trucking. I hope you guys are trucking as well. And like I usually say, man, we're not gonna waste too much time. We're gonna go ahead and get to week 11, and we're gonna talk about quarterbacks that we like this week. And first guy that I like on that list, J.J. McCarthy, quarterback from the Minnesota Vikings, going against the Chicago Bears, right? So the Chicago Bears defense has been really up and down all season long. But just the last two games, guys, against the Bengals, they gave up 30 points to Joe Flacco. And then last week, they gave up 27 points to Jackson Dart. I think J.J. McCarthy is a safe stream this week if you have your quarterback on bye, if your other quarterback has a bad matchup. I think J.J. McCarthy is going to have a solid week going against the Bears. If you're able to pick them up, feel safe, put them into your lineup this week, all right? Second guy on our list that we got this week, Aaron Rodgers going against the Cincinnati Bengals. And by the way, last time they played the Cincinnati Bengals on Thursday Night Football, Aaron Rodgers had 4 touchdowns in that game, 4 passing touchdowns. I think the Cincinnati's defense is very bad. The edge rusher, Trey Hendrickson, is going to be out this week. Just traded a few guys a week ago as well. I think the defense is not going to get much better. They're going to be really a scoring team. If you need a quarterback this week, Aaron Rodgers. I think he's a safe bet going against the Bengals. Go ahead and stream him, put him into your lineup for week 11, all right? Let's go ahead and move over to running backs this week. And a guy that is just really picking up a lot of steam over the last few weeks, we got Woody Marks from the Houston Texans going against the Tennessee Titans this week. All right, first of all, great matchup. The Titans have been terrible against running backs this entire season, but Woody Marks is really, really coming on. Just last week, he had a great game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And again, like I said, the matchup this week, the Tennessee Titans have given up 14 touchdowns this season to running backs. I think Woody Marks gets in the end zone. I think he has another week over 15 fantasy points. If you have him on your team, RB2 position, flex position, I think he's a really good guy that you could put into your lineup, all right? All right, talk about this next guy, man. Been talking about him since the preseason. Haven't really seen what we want to see, but I think this is a week where he can really have him a good week, man. That's Bill Merritt from the Commanders going against the Dolphins this week, right? Even within him playing not that great, he's getting majority of carries on that team. And to be honest with you guys, man, the Dolphins give up a lot of rushing yards to running backs on the season. They're terrible against the run. I believe they give over 125 a game. I think Bill Merritt could be a safe flex position guy this week, or if you got some guys on bye or injuries, RB2 this week, I think he's going to have a good game against the Miami Dolphins this week. All right, and last but not least, this is one I just had to put on the list this week because I think this guy's going to absolutely go off. You got Javonte Williams, running back from the Cowboys, going against the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm going to go ahead and say this. I think he's going to have anywhere between 2 to 3 touchdowns in this game, and you can go ahead and book it. Javonte Williams from the Cowboys going against the Raiders, Monday Night Football. A lot of energy coming to the Cowboys with these trades. Javonte Williams, 2 to 3 touchdowns. Book it. Have him in your lineup this week, all right? Let's go ahead and move over to receivers. And the guy I've been talking about all season who's finally getting healthy and he's finally putting up those numbers, that's your boy Juwan Jennings, wide receiver from the San Francisco 49ers going against the Arizona Cardinals this week, all right? In his last 2 games, right, he had over 14 fantasy points, 17 fantasy points, and he's had 2 touchdowns in both of those games, right? Mac Jones has looked really, really good in that offense. He's slinging the ball around. And in the last 2 games, like I said, he's really looking for Juwan. I think Juwan's going to have a really good game again this week going against the Cardinals. If you have him on your team, wide receiver 2, definitely flex positioning. Juwan Jennings is coming on, all right? Another guy who's really been coming on, Jameson Williams going against the Eagles this week from the Detroit Lions, all right? One thing that I'm noticing in that offense, especially last week, with why can't I think of coach's name right now? Oh my God, Dan Campbell. I'm sorry, Dan Campbell taking over play calling from the offensive coordinator. It seems like they got a lot of stuff kind of going on over there in Detroit. But one thing is for certain, they really want to get the ball to Jameson Williams, right? In the last game last week, he had 13 targets, man. All right, 13 targets. That's a ton of targets. They really tried to get him the ball. And then the last 2 games, he's actually had 2 touchdowns in the last 2 games. All right, so Jameson Williams is really coming on. I think Dan Campbell really wants to get him the ball. He really sees him as a weapon. Going against the Eagles this week at home, I think you could book him as a wide receiver 2 for sure. Flex position this week. Jameson Williamson will be going off, all right? And last but not least on the wide receiver list for this week, we got Michael Wilson, a receiver from the Arizona Cardinals, going against the San Francisco 49ers, right? So news came out that Marvin Harrison will be out this week. And to be honest with you, Michael Wilson has been the wide receiver 2 pretty much the whole season. Just last week, he had 7 targets in that offense. With Marv being out, Jacoby's been a lot better as a quarterback in that offense, getting the ball around. He's probably going to throw the ball to Trey McBride 30 times, but you got to get it to somebody else. I think Michael Wilson is a guy that you can, safely put into your flex this week, and he's going to have a really good game. All right, so Michael Wilson from the Cardinals going against the San Francisco 49ers this week. That's a good bet, all right? All right, let's go ahead and move over to tight end this week. Just last week, I told you guys that Dalton Schultz will be a good start for the Houston Texans, and I think he's going to be a really good start again this week going against the Tennessee Titans. Again, Tennessee Titans defense is really bad, but Davis Mills, backup quarterback, they really look for tight ends in that offense, all right? And, just last week, he had 11 targets, all right? I think that's going to continue this week going against the Titans. Not a very good defense. Dalton Schultz, if you have him, start him. If you don't have him, and he's on your waiver wire somehow, definitely pick him up and put him into your lineup, all right? Another guy this week, old head, Zach Ertz going against the Miami Dolphins, all right? They're going to be over, I believe, in a European game this week. Marcus Mariota really looks for Zach Ertz in that offense. I think they're going to run the ball pretty well, probably do some play action. I think Zach Ertz will have a very solid game. Just last week, he had 5 targets. I think he'll continue to get even more of those. Terry McLaurin out again this week. Marcus Mariota to Zach Ertz this week. I think that's a good matchup, all right? And last but not least, man, you got Luke Musgrave, tight end from the Packers, going against the Giants this week. I know last week he didn't play as great. The Eagles defense kind of shut Green Bay down pretty well, and that was just a poorly played football game. But yeah, going against the Giants this week, I think he'll have a good game. The Giants have, been average pretty much against tight ends this season, and Jordan Love really, really likes to get that ball to his tight ends. I think Luke Musgrave is a good start this week going against the Giants, all right? Again, man, Gyms with Josh. You can follow us on TikTok as well as Instagram and YouTube, giving out advice all week. Feel free to DM. We will be back live on TikTok this Sunday, giving out some picks as well as talking about some parlays as well. So definitely tap in and tune in with us. Again, we're at that part of the season, man. We're already at week 11. Got to start making adjustments in your lineups, right? Scour that waiver wire. It's a time of the year where, the right kicker you put in with the right matchup or tight end or RB2 can really help you win, for that week. My big money league that I'm in, I'm 8-2. My other league, I'm 5-5. I got a big week coming up this week. So I'm definitely excited about trying to lock my guys in and do what we do. All right. I know on EPs, we usually always do Thursday night football picks, but this week, man, I'm not really feeling the Thursday night football picks. It's just really been some bad football play all the way around. And honestly, this week, guys, you have the Jets. Who is it? The Jets versus the, I don't even know who the hell the Jets are playing. I'm going to be totally honest with you, but it's the Jets. All right. I don't really feel like tapping in too much to that game. I don't think it'd really be worth your time trying to really bet on that. So yeah, we'll get with the picks on Underdog coming up this Sunday though. We're gonna get on Underdog and we'll give you guys some picks and some plays which you guys can bet some money in on Sunday. So definitely stay tuned for that, man. Hey, as always, appreciate the support. Gyms with Josh. I don't know what EP this is, but I know we're on week 11 and we're steady trucking, steady doing our thing. TikTok, please stop blocking my videos so I can get my views back up. And Instagram, thank you guys for showing so much love over there. Betting on Underdog, 10-4 this week, all right? You guys have a good one.